guys, welcome back to another video. So, I saw that y'all don't know the difficulties. Why? You don't know it? For some reason? Some unknown reason? I don't know. But now that you clicked and now that you saw the title probably, we are gonna talk, this is gonna be a sort of podcast. We are gonna talk about all the JADO difficulties. They are gonna be explained. Got it? So, we're starting off. We go to EToH. This difficulty was removed because, bro, there was only one tower with it, and that's slight unhappiness. Type slight unhappiness was too easy. Like too easy and some shit, and they removed it because it was basically useless, effortless difficulty. And same with Tower of Slight Unhappiness. It was just, I mean, they also had to choose because the community back then didn't really like those easy towers. Sometimes, okay, most. But yeah, that's it for effortless. Going to easy. Easy is the easiest difficulty in the game as of now, 2025 March 30th. It's about what you think. It's easy difficulty. About 50% of noobs can complete this if they grind. But this is only the noob difficulty. This was, oh my god. This was added because, oh, bruh. It was added, it was just added. As, the first tower to have the easy difficulty is Tower of Anger. Tower of Anger, is a very boring tower. Very boring. And it was made after, I think, after Tower of Impossible Expectations. Tower of Impossible Expectations. After that, because Tower of Madness also came out for the for the players that need easier towers. These easier towers are now nerfed even more, sadly, but it's okay. Only the beginning towers have been nerfed. Anyway, going back to easy, it's still really, you could say, beginner friendly. Most areas have an easy tower, but later rings don't have them. It is green, not dark green. Dark green is effortless. It is lime to green, and it's pretty. That's it, I guess. Going back to medium, wow, the floor color is medium too. Wow, or medium color. The medium color is preserved as medium. It has never changed in names, and it's actually the difficulty of Tower of Madness. Yes, Tower of Madness was revamped to be harder. Anyway, oh. Anyway, medium is yellow no, yellow, and medium actually is one of the places where noobs quit, as normal. And when noobs quit forever. Anyway, medium is where you actually have to put effort in it if you're a pro or you've been in an intense plus. In medium towers, it's pretty lame in there. It's just kind of a filler difficulty between easy and hard. Anyway, moving on to hard, aka Tower of Heck, and every tower basically. This hard difficulty is the most it is the most original difficulty, could you say? It's the first difficulty, and first difficulty to be used in the game. It's also the difficulty of the first tower, aka Tower of Heck. The Tower of Heck is really is really classic. They nerfed it like a lot of times, and they're gonna revamp it soon. But sadly, we have never seen the revamp in 3 years. Some tutorial towers are hard difficulty. I only know of one in Zone 4. Most hard difficulty towers are in the middle game, where you are in Ring 5 and stuff, and Zone 3, Zone 2. Anyway, they are actually hard, as you can tell, and over 99% of Robloxians can't beat it. I do not know why, but people can't beat that. For actual good players, it's about the same as medium, but a bit harder. There's a lot to talk about. What the hard difficulty, but that's almost it. By the way, it's orange and it should be preserved as well as possible. Once there was actually a debate on whether they should change hard, but it never happened. When I mean debate, I meant like, hey, imagine if it got actually changed. Said some guy, totally not called Jukesa. Anyway, moving on to difficult. It's red and it's the mark of the end of the noob difficulties. No noob can complete this at their first tower, probably. Ugh. Just a few, maybe a few tens. But this is actually for intermediate players and difficult difficulty. That's a mouse. Mouse fool say difficulty 5 times fast. I dare you. Anyway, yeah. So this is about to. It's like difficult is almost another filler difficulty, but not really. Difficult is used for not that many towers, but it is important for the game. Why? It's because the difficulty gap between hard and challenging. Why? I swear, challenging almost feels like intense, and hard almost feels like medium. And we're gonna talk about that later. Anyway, that's basically it for difficult. Also, it wasn't added until Tower of Keyboard Eating, which is after, I think, Tower of Anger and Tower of Madness. I'm not checking because I'm a bit lazy today. Anyway, moving on to challenging. This is a filler difficulty. There's towers that feel like hard towers, which are actually challenging, and challenging towers which actually feel like they're remorseless. More about that soon. Anyway, after you do challenging, oh yeah, and challenging is dark red, and it was the second difficulty to be added in the game. Tower of screen punching is the first. To have a challenging difficulty, or what it's called, extremely hard. And moving on to intense, it's black, and it's actually the first difficulty. It's the marking of noobs and pro players, or amateurs and pro players. It's known for It's really known for Child of Impossible Expectations and Coles. Most players actually go to Coles and Impossible Expectations as their first entry because they think they're good. Anyway, intense is one of the most delicious difficulties. The easiest is Tower of, what was it called again? Tower of Impossible Expectations, but I recommend Tower of Tokyo Heights as your first because it's way easier. Or Topa is also really easy. Tower of Pegasus Ascension or whatever it's called, and Garden of EToH. Anyway, after that, you finally get to Remorseless. The last thing before the soul crushing difficulty. We'll talk about soul crushing difficulties more soon. No, Remorseless is one of the most no. Remorseless is one of the most despised difficulties in the game, and definitely it was in the late 2018s. In the late 2018s, a tower called Tower of True Skill, as you can see here, not really podcast anymore. Was despised to be impossible, like Tower of Impossible Expectations, because it had impossible in its name. Anyway, Remorseless is about this color, like hot pink, and it's neon, no shit. Every difficulty is neon, except for Horrific Unreal and No. Anyway, we'll talk about that more soon. Look at this, Tim. Anyway, we today no flip. In Remorseless, you have most towers. The hardest is wait. Let me check again. I forgot what it's called. The hardest Remorseless is Tower of flip. The hardest Remorseless is Tower of Tornado Remnants, which is peak Remorseless. Yeah, yeah. Every difficulty has a sub ranking. Those are split into two. One ranking is with numbers. As you can see, easy is from 1 to 1999 or 199. 1.99. Same with 1. And these difficulties are basically mini difficulties. You could say there's 100 in each difficulty. 1 is basically the easiest tower ever, and 1.99 is the hardest easy tower ever, as you see. And it's the same with medium, hard, difficult, challenging, intense, remorseless, all the way up to catastrophic and horrific. And I'm not gonna spoil so much. Anyway, talk about citadels. There's a lot in remorseless and intense. Remorseless has about the same as intense, but remorseless has a bit more few or bit less. Remorseless is the second most popular. Second most popular difficulty. The most popular is intense. Actually, no. Remorseless is actually the third most popular nowadays. But remorseless is like a borderline where you will quit. This is also the borderline of grinding in the tower for over 1,000 minutes. And yeah, as I did with Tower True Skill. Moving on to Insane. Insane is the first soul crushing and easiest. The Insane is dark blue or navy blue and is pretty hard, as you can see. The first Insane towers are Thanos Tower and Tower of Mind Breaking, or Tower of Confusion and Tower of Mind Breaking. No, not Tower of Mind Breaking. Thanos Tower and Tower of Confusion are the first soul crushings. These soul crushings are what was before all Insane, and they still are. But they say that Tower of Tower of Confusion would be extreme soon. Thanos Tower, as you can see here, is a soul crushing, and the Thanos the portal it has nothing to do. It's still whew, it was hard. It's still intense difficulty. It was Thanos difficulty for a bit, but it got removed. Every what was it called again? Every single soul crushing has a custom room, and every single soul crushing is hidden. And every single soul crushing has a custom win room. Thanos Tower does have one of them, and it's one of the easiest. The easiest intense tower is Tower of Double Trouble. Tower of Double Trouble has actually 30 sides. Wow. Side A, side B, and side C. It also has 5 full floors. That's amazing, right? Right? Okay. Anyway, the next is extreme. Extreme is about blue difficulty. Blue. Like I could show you. You can see 10 completions. It's about like this color called royal blue, I think. No, I think insane is royal blue. I forgot. Anyway, these extreme is one of the more underrated difficulties and filler difficulties. I forgot to mention, it's the second soul crushing, and I forgot to mention that all difficulties in the soul crushing realm was once one difficulty. It's called the Godspeed. Godspeed is a big difficulty. It ranges from insane to catastrophic, aka from Tower of Double Trouble to Tower of Cruel Punishment. The Godspeed was like the terrifying color, light blue or turquoise, or you could say, don't really like, yeah, light blue. You could say strong saturated blue. These anyway, back to extreme. Extreme is ranges from Tower of Astral Eclipse to Tower of Fractured Memories. It's one of the more rare towers you do. Towers like it is pretty easy, and no, pretty easy. These towers separate the pros from the tryhards. Anyway, that's all for extreme. Terrifying, another pretty filler difficulty. Not really, but a bit. These all of these towers are bad somehow. I do not know how. Somehow, it's just somehow. One of the worst towers are terrifying, and it's called Tower of Inception. Tower of Inception is in Ring 4, and it's hidden as the hardest terrifying tower, aka high peak terrifying. 10.87. These terrifying towers should actually retire. Okay, these terrifying towers are actually pretty feller, as you can as you know. But that's basically it. Again, could say It's also the same color of Godspeed. Anyway, moving on to an actually interesting difficulty, Godspeed. Godspeed is a difficulty, no, flip. Not Godspeed, catastrophic. Catastrophic is a really interesting difficulty. Catastrophic is used for multiple hard towers. These towers, only a few people have beaten these towers, from Tower of Augmented Misery to Tower of Cruel Punishment. Tower of Cruel Punishment is the hardest tower inside the main game. It's really hard, and actually it's very hard. Catastrophic is white, a strong white, and not pure white, but it's strong, and it's pretty. It's not filler at all. It's made for the hardest of hardest towers, and it separates the tryhards from the champions. Oh, no, more like the grandmasters. The catastrophic difficulty has. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. We're gonna go quick through all the difficulties up to catastrophic. All of these difficulties have a symbol, as you could have seen probably. Easy is a triangle. Medium is a trapezoid. Hard is a square. Difficult is a parallelogram. Challenging is why did I forget? A five-sided thing. Intense is a hexagon. Remorseless is an octagon. Insane is a three-pointed star. Extreme is a four-pointed star. Terrifying is a five-pointed star, and catastrophic is a six-pointed star. Back to catastrophic. Catastrophic is used only for the most late towers ever. In Ring 9, Ring 8, Ring 7, Zone 9, Zone 8, Zone 7, like those. And Zone 6, I think. I forgot. No, that's extreme. Yeah, that's it for catastrophic. Now, we go in the SC Plus territory. Here is a custom difficulty which was removed. It's called not horrifying, nullifying. It's or I think it's called nullifying. I forgot. It's between catastrophic and horrific. It was a soul crushing plus difficulty. It was very light violet, and very light violet, and it was used for Tower Vacant Hindrances. Sadly, it got removed because I think it was a joke difficulty or some shit. Anyway, back to horrific. Horrific is the first difficulty what? Oh yeah, and nullifying has what's it called again? Has yeah, it has a like star or sign thingy, and it's an eight-pointed star. Anyways, finally back to horrific. Horrific is the first one without any sign or stuff. Horrific is used for the hardest of towers, from Tower of Vacant Hindrances to Tower of Roof's Bequeath and Tower of Eternal Void. All of these towers from now on are also just in Pit of Misery. Pit of Misery is um is the holder of the hardest towers. These hardest towers are so hard, only a few people completed them. And when I mean a few, I mean less than 10. Tower of Vacant Hindrances is pretty popular to beat. About 100 people have beaten it. And Tower of Eternal Void, I think it's the hardest. About 50 people have beaten it. These towers are so hard that most fan games actually use a flipping checkpoint system if it's revolved around the kind, cause you don't want to do it legit. These towers are so hard to beat that they classify as why the is this even real? These towers are actually kind of joke towers. They were joke towers, could I say. These joke towers were hard. They were joke towers, actually. They are all classic towers except for the non-soul crushing ones. Yes, Pit of Misery has non-soul crushing non-soul crushing pluses. Anyway, yeah, Pit of Misery also has an easy tower called Tower of Modernistic Design Choices. It's kind of a joke tower. Anyway, fine. We are going to Unreal. Unreal is a dark purplish bluish, and it's about as hard as you can expect. Only one person has only I think 3 players have beaten the hardest thing, Tower of Spiraling Fates, and it's a peak Unreal difficulty. Somehow, some way. These towers in Unreal are so hard that it just says actually impossible as a warning. Wow. Anyway, back to what I was about to say. They are really hard. Oh yeah, and Horrific and Unreal have a black box in the middle, which almost covers the entire difficulty. Not entirely, but almost. Horrific has a smaller one than Unreal. Unreal is basically black. There's only dark purplish bluish at the edges. Same with Horrific, but violet. Anyway, these after that we go to the removed difficulties again. There is 2 removed difficulties in the game. There's only one with nil. Nil is one of the hardest difficulties ever, or the second hardest to beat in JEToH. Citadel of Void is peak flip. It's peak. It is peak. What's it called again? Bro, how do I not know? It's peak nil. And it's so hard with 22 floors that the world record is flipping floor 5. Somehow. It's the only floor 5. Wait, let me. Okay. Back to too hard. The too hard is considered humanly impossible, but I think it could be actually possible in the future, like 2040 or some shit. too hard difficulty was also only made for one tower, TOTAS, or Tower of no, I forgot what it's called. I only know the acronym TOTAS. TOTAS was a tower or a joke tower, which only has 12.7 long jumps, about 3,000 of them. No, I think 4,000. And the last jump is a 16 stud with a head hitter. That's 12 studs up. And to me, that just sounds insanely hard to complete. But TOTAS was actually complete once with a glitch called frog jumping. Frog jumping is where two players jump on their heads at the same time at a very specific moment. Then you can fly. This only works when you have two players and when player collisions is on, which there isn't in EToH. But TOTAS still has everything. Everything. It's just in a different game. Anyway, finally, after all of that, all the difficulties are gone. Let's talk about sub difficulties. First sub difficulty I'm gonna talk about is NEAT. NEAT is a joke difficulty which is in GDT. GDT is stands for Jukes Joke Towers, and they have custom difficulties. This one was actually in EToH as an April Fool's event. It's between easy and medium, and it's you could say greenish yellowish, and it has a little face on it. The not the smiling face, but like pointy face, like this one. No, this one. Yeah, like that. If you are watching the video. Anyway, it was only used for one tower, and that was NEAT. Not even a tower. It's a mini tower called NEAT. Not even a tower. And yes, that's basically it for April Fools. Next sub difficulty is between hard and difficult. It's called tricky. This difficulty was never was never gonna be in the game, but it was a difficulty in the far past, in a way, cause it said question mark between. Between hard and difficult, or in the old days, hard and very hard. It was later changed to question mark on top, which became eggplant, and that became remorseless. And finally, I think this is the second to last. Yeah, second to last is between remorseless and insane. It's called relentless. Relentless was also never added into the game. It was theorized to be added as the insane difficulty after Godspeed would be split up, but it didn't. It never. It was just theorized. And the last sub difficulty is between what was it called again? Yeah, terrifying and catastrophic. I already talked about this difficulty, and this difficulty, its name is called Godspeed. But you may think, okay, so that's the end of the video. No! Because this is a different Godspeed. This Godspeed is very light, you could say. It's like light bluish or whitish, you can say. So very light blue. Or actually light blue, which is desaturated. Desaturated light blue is what it is. And this Godspeed was also an April Fool's event to just remind you of the old days. But finally, that's it for the video. I'll see you guys next time, and that's all the Jado difficulties explained. Peace.